It's a tough fight. Tom is a complete fighter, but I do feel like he's fought a lot of aggressive guys. And I think Gane is a guy who's going to do a lot of movement. He's going to be a little more cautious and just moving around a lot. It might frustrate Tom. So first, second, third round, maybe Tom can't find Ciryl Gane. So I think it's going to be a different fight. We'll see.
Alex Pereira has just broken down the upcoming fight between Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane. On the other hand, Joe Rogan spoke about Ciryl Gane's unique skill set, pointing out that despite being a heavyweight at 6'5" and around 247 pounds, he moves with the quickness and lightness of a much smaller fighter. Rogan even likened Gane's smooth footwork to that of Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, saying it's rare to see that kind of movement in the heavyweight division. He explained that Gane has shifted the way people think about striking at this weight class and wondered if his blend of technique and stamina will be enough to handle Tom Aspinall, who has been on a strong rise with impressive wins. Moreover, Daniel Cormier also weighed in, saying fans have been waiting for a long time to finally see Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane go head-to-head. He pointed out that the betting lines currently favor Aspinall as a heavy -325 favorite, while Gane sits as a +265 underdog, but he stressed that those numbers don't capture how close this fight could actually be. Cormier believes the matchup is much tighter than the odds suggest, which makes the clash even more compelling for anyone following the heavyweight division.
We finally got Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane. Chill, we've been screaming about this Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane for a long time. UFC 321, Tom -325, Gane +260. We finally got the fight, but the world doesn't seem to believe, Chill, that it's a close fight. And I don't really agree with that line. I think this fight is much closer. Tom Aspinall -325, Ciryl Gane +265.
However, Alex Pereira gave his take on the matchup, saying that Ciryl Gane is the type of fighter who relies heavily on movement and caution. He explained that Gane will be circling and staying mobile, which could frustrate Tom Aspinall in the early rounds if he struggles to find his timing. Pereira suggested that the style could make the fight play out differently than many expect, especially in the opening frames.
It's a tough fight. Tom is a complete fighter, but I do feel like he's fought a lot of aggressive guys. And I think Gane is a guy who's going to do a lot of movement. He's going to be a little more cautious and just moving around a lot. It might frustrate Tom. So first, second, third round, maybe Tom can't find Ciryl Gane. So I think it's going to be a different fight. We'll see.
Furthermore, Kamaru Usman spoke highly of Ciryl Gane, calling him one of the most well-rounded heavyweights in the division. He praised Gane's smooth movement along with his ability to mix punches, kicks, and elbows effectively. At the same time, he highlighted Tom Aspinall's quickness, crisp boxing, and dangerous knockout power, saying their clash is a high-level matchup that promises fireworks for both fans and the division.
And Ciryl Gane is, people forget how fantastic he is. A guy that can kind of float around the octagon, touch you, kick you, hit you with elbow. He's just a complete game. But man, Tom's movement, his boxing, speed, and his power, it's very, very difficult to doubt this man anymore.
MMA Guru also reacted with excitement to the booking, predicting that Aspinall has the potential to secure a first-round knockout. He reminded fans that Tai Tuivasa was able to drop Gane, and with Aspinall's faster, more precise striking, an even earlier finish could be possible. Still, he acknowledged that if Gane pulled off the win, it would shock many and even shift opinions among Jon Jones supporters, though he ultimately leaned toward Aspinall due to Gane's vulnerabilities in the grappling department when facing a more complete opponent.
But Aspinall versus Gane, scary matchup. I think Aspinall's going to win by KO in the first round. If Tai Tuivasa can ever drop you on your in an MMA fight after you've beaten him up for the whole first round, if he can find a way to find your chin in that second round and drop you at any point in your career, I think Aspinall will find it in the first round, and I do think we'll see a first round Tom Aspinall KO. If Ciryl Gane wins, my life will crumble before my very eyes. You understand this, right? We can't have Ciryl Gane win. There's going to be a conglomerate of MMA fans that are suspiciously pro-Gane here, for no reason whatsoever, okay? Now, these may be considered former Jon Jones fans that now have nowhere to go because Jones retired, that will now pretend to be Ciryl Gane fans and pretend to want Ciryl Gane to win for the good of the sport. I just think he's way better. Tom Aspinall's the correct prediction. It is a very risky matchup. Ciryl Gane is very, very technical. Ciryl Gane is harder to hit than any former opponent of Tom Aspinall. I just think his grappling is a weakness, and he'll be thinking about that in a fight with Tom. And while you're thinking about that, You've also got to think about being knocked out with any punch you get hit with. So it's just a lot for Gane to worry about.
And Gary gave his high praise to Tom Aspinall when discussing a potential clash with Ciryl Gane, saying he doesn't expect the fight to go beyond the first round. He called Aspinall phenomenal and went as far as to label him the best heavyweight he has ever seen in the UFC. Gary admitted the way that Aspinall captured the interim title wasn't the most ideal circumstance, but emphasized that in the long run, fans will only remember his dominance inside the cage and the fact that he stands as the division's champion.
I don't see that fight getting out of the first round. Right. I think Tom is phenomenal. I think he's absolutely the best heavyweight we've ever seen in the UFC. I said to him, it sucks to win the belt that way, to be the champion this way, that no one's going to remember that in 3 fights time. They're just going to remember what you've done and that you are the champion of the world and you're the best in the division, and that's it.
Curtis Blades shared his perspective on the matchup, pointing out that Tom Aspinall's wrestling and control in grappling exchanges provide him with a clear edge. He explained that Aspinall has the ability to take the fight to the ground whenever he chooses, and that could end up being the deciding factor. Blades also noted that if the fight goes past the opening round, he favors Aspinall to be the one who comes out on top.
I believe that Aspinall does have the advantage though in that the grappling department. I believe that whenever he wants to, he'll be able to put Ciryl on his back, and he may not have to, but I believe he can if he does have to, and I believe that'll be the difference if he gets out of the first round. I'll go with Aspinall.
Henry Cejudo weighed in on the upcoming fight between Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane, calling it a big gamble for the heavyweight division. He explained that Gane's size combined with his unusual speed makes him a completely different challenge from the opponents Aspinall has faced so far. Cejudo predicted that Aspinall won't be able to run through him as easily as he did with past rivals and said this matchup will reveal Aspinall's true standing in the division. He also hinted that the result could influence whether Jon Jones decides to return and chase another championship run.
You give him the one contender, Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane is somebody that's a big heavyweight, that's very agile. I don't think Tom Aspinall gets rid of him right away like he has with other people. And I think that'll be a big indication if Jon Jones wants to come back and reclaim that bout once again.
Benoit Saint-Denis shared strong confidence in Ciryl Gane, saying France is close to celebrating its first UFC champion. He mentioned that after training alongside and spending more time with Gane this year, his belief in the heavyweight's potential has only grown. According to Saint-Denis, Gane looks sharper than ever, fully focused and motivated thanks to months of dedicated preparation without distractions. He described Gane as a rare talent in the division and predicted that across 5 rounds, his skill and game plan will give him the edge over Aspinall.
How do you think he does against Tom?
To be honest, I think we are gonna finally have our first French UFC champion. I think Ciryl, I've been talking with him. I have been taking more time with him this year than the past years, talking and training, and yeah, I think he's ready, and I think he has this fire inside him of wanting to become champion, working hard since a long time. He's not talking a lot this past month, but he has been doing a real good job, and he has been working hard, and I do believe he's an exceptional athlete, even for the heavyweight division. And on 5 rounds, I do believe he's gonna beat Tom Aspinall, and I cannot wait to see it, because of course it's gonna be tactical and very high level stuff, but I do believe Ciryl can do it, and he will.
Chael Sonnen looked at the showdown between Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane as a key turning point for the heavyweight ranks. He explained that while big-name blockbuster fights often dominate attention, carefully put together contests like this one can end up having a bigger impact on the future of the sport. Sonnen mentioned that Gane himself admitted the matchup had already been scheduled and cancelled 4 times in the past, which in his view makes this moment the perfect time for it to finally take place for the division and the standings.
Aspinall versus Gane is a massive transitional fight for the heavyweight division. Now, you got to understand where we're at. And I'm a checkers player. When it comes to matchmaking, that is a unique
skill and vision. But I will always go with low-hanging fruit. It's just the way my mind works. I take the biggest fight for right now. But sometimes you're playing chess. And I admire the guys that can do that. I admire the guys that can stand back, look at the board, not think about what's right now, think about what could be. Ciryl Gane versus Tom Aspinall. According to Ciryl Gane, he just did an interview. They tried to make this fight 4 times. And for rankings and for the integrity of our rankings, I get it.
He also underlined Gane's decorated background in kickboxing, estimating his professional record to be around 27-3, though in some places it is listed at 29-2. Sonnen said that level of striking experience makes him dangerous for any heavyweight. On the other side, he pointed out that Aspinall has ended most of his fights with knockout finishes, usually preferring to stay on the feet in exchange. Since both men like to strike but bring very different levels of pedigree, Sonnen called this a rare stylistic battle that has caught the attention of fans everywhere.
And it's a hard matchup. By the way, Ciryl is a very decorated kickboxer. Off the top of my head, I believe he was 27-3 in professional kickboxing. 27-3. I get he and Adesanya's record confused one time. One of them was 29-2 and the other one was 27-3. And I'm sharing for you when you're Tom Aspinall and you beat 6 men all the same way, which is stand up and by knockout. It's a matchup-wise, it's an interesting match.
Matt Brown gave his perspective by saying both heavyweights are under pressure, but Tom Aspinall has the heavier weight on his shoulders because of how the division looks right now and the path of his career. He explained that if Ciryl Gane were to win, it could further damage the reputation of the heavyweight class, whereas Aspinall has a chance to prove he is the true leader of the division. Brown added that even if Aspinall were to lose in a close fight, it would still affect how the division is judged and could hurt his spot at the very top of the sport.
It's almost an unfair comparison, right? When we talk about pressure versus pressure, everybody's under tremendous pressure. But I guess when you kind of look at it from not just pressure, but potential legacy and career and what's on the line, I think it's hard to not go with Tom Aspinall because the heavyweight division is on the line. If Gane goes in and beats him, no disrespect to Gane, love the guy, the heavyweight division loses a lot of respect. Even if Tom goes out there and it's a close fight or he gets dropped and then has to come back or something, like the heavyweight division has so little respect right now, probably deservedly so, I think. You know, with Gane getting his 3rd title shot in a couple years, like Tom has to show that he is the heavyweight division. You know, he has to prove that to the world. Like I am, you know, the heavyweight division's not just, but like I'm so good that the heavyweight division is right. This is kind of his thing that he has to go out there and prove to the world.
He went on to say that the result will have a direct effect on what comes next, especially the potential of a future matchup with Jon Jones. According to Brown, Jones will be watching carefully, looking for weaknesses in Aspinall that could matter in a future fight. With the heavyweight division already facing criticism for lacking momentum, Brown said this fight is a career-defining moment for Aspinall and a crucial one for the weight class as a whole. Michael Bisping also shared his breakdown, pointing out Tom Aspinall's rapid rise with big wins against Curtis Blades, Sergey Pavlovich, and Alexander Volkov, but warning that Ciryl Gane presents a very different kind of challenge with his unique mix of size, speed, and athletic ability. He even compared both men to what a heavyweight version of Georges St. Pierre might look like, praising Gane's sharp striking and smooth footwork while reminding fans that his ground weaknesses were exposed by Jon Jones and could again be taken advantage of by Aspinall.
Now, when you look at the UFC heavyweight rankings, as I say, Tom has beat most of them, and he's beat them in style, and he's knocked them all out. Curtis Blades, Sergey Pavlovich, Alexander Volkov, whoever they are, he's beaten them all up. But Ciryl Gane is a little bit different. Now, of course, Jon Jones beat Ciryl Gane in quick fashion, took him down in the first round, submitted him with a front choke. But Ciryl Gane is the same as Tom Aspinall in terms of athletic ability. When I say that Tom Aspinall is a heavyweight George St. Pierre, that kind of goes to Ciryl Gane as well. The man's gigantic. He's very quick. He's agile. He's light on his feet. He could run any sport on the planet. And he's almost like George St. Pierre and Tom Aspinall in the fact that he's got all those athletic attributes and qualities, but he doesn't have the grappling. That's what cost him against John Jones, and that's probably what's going to cost him against Tom Aspinall. You never know, he could clip him. This is a dangerous fight. This is heavyweight MMA.
Bisping also stressed Aspinall's strong grappling base, which he built under the guidance of his father from his teenage years as a key factor that could tilt the fight in his favor. He admitted that Gane's striking remains a serious threat and that heavyweight contests are always unpredictable, but said his pick is Aspinall to come out on top. Bisping added that John Jones will surely be observing closely, prepared to give his own take if Aspinall fails to display the same level of control Jones showed when he faced Gane.
But Tom Aspinall can grapple. We've seen him take people down. He's done jiu-jitsu since he was about 15 years old. His dad is going to be on his case, and that's an absolute fact, saying, hey, you're not messing with this guy. Take him down, show him what you can do, show the world your grappling capability. Remember, Ciryl Gane turned Francis Ngannou into a wrestler, okay? So he's a very, very credible threat on the feet. But of course, I do fancy Tom Aspinall to get the job done. The fact that he isn't fighting John Jones is insane, but we've talked about that till the cows come home, so I'm not going to bore you on that subject anymore. But just you wait. John Jones is probably going to pop up on Twitter. If he doesn't beat Ciryl Gane as fast as what John did, guaranteed we're going to get some tweets.
That's it for today's video, so what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about the matchup? We would love to hear your thoughts on this, so share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also check out our other videos on the screen right now.